Good morning, everybody. I had a wonderful night's sleep. For the first time in 94 days. Well, time to get back to the grind. Well, hello everybody. It is a pleasure to see you back here. I haven't done all too much since the last time I recorded, mainly just stuffing all of my random armor drops from Infernals into chests, or at least the ones that aren't already contained in those gravestones right there, which I will deal with at some point, but for now at least, I'm going to hold off. We have a ton of things to do today, or at least in this episode. Depending on the time, however, we'll see just how far we can progress into the Stone Age. Tier 0. We're finally out of the tutorial, meaning we can finally get going. At least that is what I would say if the road ahead got any semblance of easier, but unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be. For now, though, I do want to take a little bit of time to get some more cobblestone because, well, we're going to need some more cobblestone. And the best way of doing that is by continuing to mine out our wonderful ball of silverfish stone. Oh, gosh. Ooh, that was way too close of a call. My goodness. I'm really dancing with death over here. There we go. This should hopefully be enough for now. I don't want to mine too much out at the moment. There we go. 66 cobblestone, which is more than a stack and plenty enough to get started. Wonderful. And since we already crafted a furnace, that is perfect. I guess I need to craft a roasted potato on a stick, which we've admittedly already had quite a few of at this point. This has been our primary sustenance ever since I've decided to start properly eating things. I know, right? What a concept. But again, this fishing rod tech of having an auto smelt fishing rod and then breaking potato plants to get all of this, that's just cool. Again, fully intentional. But again, I can't help but giggle at the absurdity of this as a concept. It's just goofy. I love it. So, we have a lot of quest rewards to claim, but before that, I want to make some storage. And I think the best way of doing so is grabbing some of our rainforest oak. And I want half a stack of flint, because that should be just enough to make 32 chests. Not bad. Of course, that now means I need to go through and sort all of this stuff. I don't really want to do that, but I guess I will. Well, congratulations on making it through the intro clips. Unfortunately, I was immediately stricken with a positive case of procrastination, so for the next half hour or so, I managed to not organize my inventory and instead do such things as chop down another rainforest oak. Wonder why a rainforest oak sapling is, in fact, not the same thing as a regular oak sapling. go through and complete a couple more quests from the tutorial age, like gathering carrots that I already had. Give a whole dissertation about how loot bags can contain useful items if you get lucky. Ew, probability. Claim crest rewards for pumpkins, melons, some random bits, and a small handful of coins to use in the shop. And choosing to chop down another rainforest oak tree which managed to grow all the way to Y117? Oh, and who could forget reading out the quest book entries on setting smaller, achievable goals, advice that I could certainly take to heart. Eventually, though, I did condense down my storage and take inventory and Draconic Evolution item placing lag management off of my subconscious to-do list. I obtained Spice of Life Mod's food journal and lunch bag, which will help me save inventory spots on various food items and help document my progress towards extra hearts, as the mod gives the player an extra permanent health increase for every 50 hunger points of unique food eaten, and a stacking toughness buff when eating a big enough variety of grains, fruit, vegetables, protein, and dairy, which is honestly a really cool feature, and I like it. Besides the newly acquired grimoire of gourmet gorging, the Wood Age has opened up many possibilities for expansion and many new quests to complete. The main questline in particular has the 4 gathering quests for 2 stacks of stone, gravel, sand, and clay, which blocks us immediately since I have no clay or sand. Disregarding quests, though, I do now have access to things like tables. Drying racks. Drying racks allow you to, dry certain proteins into jerky, which can help vary the kinds of foods I eat. The chisel I obtained from a quest reward allows me to create more aesthetically pleasing bases using blocks that mobs can't spawn on. Crop sticks from Industrial Craft 2 can be used for a neat little trick called growing weeds. I know it may not sound super useful at the moment, but I promise it will beautify the island more than you could imagine. And, well, much, much more. In addition to all of this, the copious amounts of chiseled oak wood planks allows me to expand the platform and, simultaneously introduce the concept of chunk alignment. Just a quick note, be sure to press the F9 key to view chunk borders. In GTNH, this will show up as the thin colored lines. The brief explanation would be that it is possible to build on a normally 16 by 16 chunk, which does not have a center, with a center, by working with a 15 by 15 building space and surrounding that space with a 1 block wide edge. 2 of the edges will remain within the chunk, and 2 will fall outside. This will then pattern to each adjacent chunk, meaning all builds within the 15 by 15 space automatically remain within the chunk boundary, which is very important for multi-blocks later on. I will be doing my best to stick with this for the entirety of the series. Oh, and if you want a more in-depth guide, I highly recommend looking at Threefold's playthrough of GTNH, Season 2, Episode 2 specifically, or the guide by Freaky2K. Cheers, guys! The main dilemma, however, is the set of 4 gathering quests. Gravel is a non-issue thanks to all the gravel creepers, so that one can be removed from the list. Cobblestone can be obtained in sufficient quantities from the silverfish ball, so this one can be checked off as well. Sand is a somewhat bigger problem, but we can make use of the forge hammer recipe to turn our gravel directly into sand. But wait, I hear some of you say, you obviously don't have a forge hammer. That's a steam age machine, and I definitely don't see any steam. Well, first off, steam is a transparent fluid and only the condensed vapor is visible, so you wouldn't see any anyways unless it was somewhere it shouldn't be. Second, we don't actually need a forge hammer to use forge hammer recipes. Enter the Gregtech hammer, a tool which can be used for turning ores into crushed ores, but can also copy forge hammer recipes, such as turning gravel into sand. Another one off the list. Now for clay. Clay. Huh. No mobs drop it. I can't fish it out of a treasure bag at all, and I can't rely on rolling it from a loot bag without extreme luck, and by that I mean hitting a 1% roll 8 times in a row levels of luck. Unfortunately, there is only one reasonable way to get clay consistently at this point. Villagers. The apothecary villager, added by the witchery mod, is an extremely scammy, nigh useless villager that has a chance to trade for clay at an exchange rate of 0.6 emeralds per clay ball. Yes, to get 128 clay balls for 0.6 emeralds each clay ball, at my current emerald production rates of about 3 per hour optimistically, I would be stuck farming emeralds for more than 25 hours. Not to mention, I don't even have an apothecary, but I can make doors. See, Gregtech New Horizons is built off of the 1.7.10 version of Vanilla Minecraft, a version of the game released in 2014. The villager reworks, requiring empty beds and food for villagers to be willing to breed, workstations, professions, would be introduced in the next major updates, meaning we get to play with the legacy system. In the legacy system, villagers will breed so long as the population of villagers is less than 35% of the number of valid houses in the village radius. A villager counts for the population if it is within 5 vertical blocks and 32 horizontal blocks of the village center. A house can be summarized as a door where the number of non-air blocks 5 tiles behind the door is greater than the number in front of the door. A villager recognizes a village as soon as it is within 16 horizontal and 3 vertical blocks of a valid house, and can breed so long as it is within a sphere with a radius equal to that of the village radius. Where it gets funky is the case when villagers are within that sphere without being included in the population check, meaning villagers will breed without contributing to the population limit. Meaning, so long as 1 villager is in that population checking range, and 2 are in that weird zone, we can go infinite. Thus, I present to you the Villager Reactor, the design of which comes courtesy of Duct, a 4-time Stargate achiever and certified GTNH dev abuser, as well as Soul9, or just 9, whose stream I use to help me understand the design, and, well, whose advice on content creation has been highly appreciated. Thanks. The base of the reactor is a 15 by 15 collection pit with water streams pushing villagers and their drops into a hopper. Oh right, villagers can passively drop emeralds every few hours? Thanks, Botania. Several blocks above the collection basin floats our village, with 1 villager in the center recognizing the 12 doors which make up the houses and running the population checks. Normally, this would only allow 4 villagers to exist before hitting that 35% cap, but because the breeding villagers are outside the area where the population checks occur, the game will happily conclude that the village will only ever have 1 villager. Nice. Alrighty. After a little bit of testing, I think it is time to get to it. I have a design in mind. Yeah, all of this rainforest oak that we have, we are going to put it to use. The jerky is done. I'm gonna get some more going. And I think the plan is I want to put the villager reactor over on that chunk over here. So again, 5 blocks there, 5 blocks here, 5 more, and then we have our 17 by 17 border. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Braid. 5. And then an extra one there. We'll make that 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And the great thing is I could just keep going across like this. So 1, and since we need 16 more to make 17, that is just going to the end of the chunk. Since we have 1 extra here, we can just take this and go to the end of the chunk. It's a little bit weird to try and fit an odd number into a 16 by 16 grid, but eventually it makes a lot more intuitive sense. So I encourage you all to try it out, or to actually look up Threefold's video on chunk alignment, because ever since doing that, I've tried my best to chunk align all of my bases, and it's a really neat and honestly kind of easy way to structure everything, yet still leave enough opportunity to get creative with the building style of things. So that is really, really cool. And shout outs to Threefold if you ever get the chance to watch this madness. All right. Grab a whole bunch more wood because we're going to need it. Oh, hello. Okay, so that is the border. Now I need to fill this in with wood. Okay, so this should be our center. And place water at this corner right here. It should flow and terminate right at this chute here. Now I do that. Let's move on out of there. Right here. And that is looking pretty good. Alright, just gotta bring him up here from down below. I'm going to use some skeleton skulls. Make a staircase. Just need to grab my villager friend. going on a lovely boat ride with me. Get in there. Hello? Get in the boat. Perfect. Next, I want to make sure you can't go anywhere. What is it with the ender creepers? Stop pushing him. Oh my god. You're kidding me, right? Like so. And drop. Whoa. You can do it. I believe in you. Enjoy the kiddie pool. It's fun. It's great. So after building a staircase and crafting a boat, we can chauffeur our 5 villagers to a new permanent residence away from any potential mobs and to spool up the reactor. While it did cost many stacks of wood planks and a significant amount of iron for the 12 doors, each one requiring 2, and the 22 additional iron needed for a hopper, it's not too long before our testificate tenants begin producing offspring. At this point, it is only a matter of time before we get the apothecary we need. In the meantime, I turn my attention to some other tasks around the island, such as cleaning up the mess of dirt houses my villagers were previously holed up in, or obtaining wheat, barley, cotton, and various witchery seeds from tilling grass blocks instead of breaking tall grass like in vanilla. This, of course, allows me to breed the cows that spawned during the construction of the reactor, as well as prepare further for Industrial Craft 2 crops, which will be happening shortly. Cotton, by the way, is an extremely useful crop as it is a source of string, so I will be sure to plant a reasonable amount of it. What I want to turn your attention to, though, are more trees. Having unlocked quests in the shop after completing the tutorial age, there now exists the option to purchase vanilla saplings using some of the quest reward coins we have obtained from completing various tasks. While this may not make any sense on the surface, it does allow us to complete the Oak Trees Are Not Apple Trees quest. And while it is neat to have a tree that can produce renewable fruit, the reason this is so important is that this quest in particular gates 2 additional shop quests. The first, Pam's Harvestcraft Gardens, which contain a wide variety of different fruits, grains, and vegetables to plant for food variety, and in turn, maximum health. The second, and far more important one, is the Magical Saplings quest, allowing us to claim Thaumcraft's Silverwood and Greatwood saplings. The 2 of these saplings do not grow with bone meal, so we will need to wait for them to grow naturally. While the wood they drop is generally useful and looks pretty nice in builds, that is not the primary reason for why I wanted these saplings. That will, however, have to be covered in the next episode, as I believe plenty of progress has been made this time around, and, well, this month is quite busy for me. Before I conclude the video, though, I wanted to take a moment to thank you all again for your engagement, and shout out both Thomas the Forgotten and Rude Caleb 8608 for the many comments and consistent encouragement throughout this project. While I strongly dislike making any explicit requests to subscribe, like, comment, or share, just know that it does not go unnoticed, and it does make a huge difference. Thank you to all of the content creators who have contributed to this series so far, and thank you, in particular, for watching. Take care, and until next time.